All right, Jeff. So here's the front of your house. I wanted to take a moment to show you what I see and kind of explain what the game plan is going to look like. We can kind of start putting something together. So first thing you need to know about bats is they can get into really small spaces. They don't need like a big hole. If they've got about a ½ inch to an inch, they can slide into it. So that's all they need. So this is the first one that definitely shows here. There's a pretty good hole in the end there where that's probably where they're getting in right there because they've chewed it away. And all the bubbling there would be feces and stuff. That does look like where they're getting in. So it needs a soffit repair here. It needs the fascia repaired, which means we need to pull the gutters off, which means we have to pull the gutter covers off. But that can all be repaired. Put it back together, and of course paint this back to blend it in. So you've got that section, and then I noticed your roof was installed incorrectly. When we do a roof here, we have to take this metal on the end there. You see that gap? You actually are supposed to cut that top of that. It's kind of hard to explain, but on that drip edge there's a flat piece on top, and you cut it and you fold it around that corner, and you just cut a little bitty relief slice on each side. You never leave it open like that. That is easily enough for a bat to get into on its own. So you have that one there. And then we'll just go up here. I see that you did do some work. Somebody put up some metal there probably to stop the bats. But I've noticed that they didn't do any trim around this roof to wall junction. That's a common spot we see bats get into as well. When they don't have trim there, sometimes there's gaps there. So we can go back, we can fill it with foam, clean it up, and also paint touch that up. At the very minimum, or really technically the right way to do it is to put a piece of trim on there. That one's the same way. That's way too much exposure. They can easily find a little spot there to slide in. And then on the top there, it looks to me like they got in there as well at some point, but they did try to cover that with that piece of metal. But just a lot of little warning spots. We need to kind of go through this house and fill gaps and paint touch up and try to get that all cleaned up. So all of these pieces of fascia here have that same thing going on, where we're going to have to fill it in, smooth it out, paint touch it up so that it's sealed off. And all of the roof to wall junctions here are not trimmed out the way we normally would. That one's not terrible. That one's pretty bad. And I would definitely think that there's got to be, there's a gap right there. That's all it takes, is that little crack. They'll get up in there. I don't see another gap that's obvious, but we need to make sure we fill those and do a paint touch up on those. So we have that. The problem with this roof edge is definitely a bigger issue because, well, the roof's installed. It's not going to be very easy at all to do that. And frankly, I'd want to talk to my guy and see what we can figure out, because that's just a real headache. That was just wrong to begin with, and I'm sure every one of them looks like that, but they should never ever look like that. So we can go around the house, start looking here. You do have some rot on your fascia here and some other things. If you're doing work, it may not be a bad time to go ahead and clean it up and paint touch it up and get it done. Someone's already here. It's cheaper if you bundle it together. So I was going to ask too, are you wanting to do garage doors anytime soon? I notice they're rotting out. We do garage doors, and this is the time of year we usually start getting a lot of those calls. So we're happy to bid that for you if you'd like to. So I went through here, and I've got to remember it as I go. So forgive me, I'm trying to remember all the spots. But there was a crack here somewhere. That's a maybe right there. See, like, so when we're out here working, I noticed that looks a little rotted, and there's gaps there that I'd probably just go ahead and fill that in and paint touch all that up too. So this would be probably 3 hours worth of work right there, just to get that filled in, smoothed out, touched up with paint. That looks okay, and maybe some paint touch up wouldn't hurt it. There's another gap on the end of your drip edge. Cannot leave those gaps. They will easily slide into that. Plus it may even be leaking into the house a little bit there and rotting that soffit if we're not careful. So kind of the same stories over and over again, but I'll go through them with you. Roof to wall junction, we need to check. We need to seal those off and paint touch up minimum, but that's so high, I don't see how they're doing anything. That's got to be gapped at the top and leaking anyways. That really should have a trim board running up it right there. It's just way too high for it to properly be sealing. So that would be a big concern for me if I was you, for sure. And then I stood over here and I saw a gap somewhere right in here. There it is. Okay, I knew there was one here somewhere. All right, so right above there, those little 1/2 inch gaps that don't look like much, that's easily enough for a bat to get into. So those need to be sealed off, smoothed out, painted in to blend it in. And there's several of those around the house. This soffit, I'm sorry, this fascia block right there is rotted pretty bad. We could pop that, put a new one on, paint that to blend it in real quick. That little gap right there, yeah, that's enough. They'll get in there too. So that needs, same thing, smooth it out, paint it, blend it in. And I'm sure those corners are all the same. They are, I can see it from here. So it's the same issues. They just improper installation of the roof, and then they didn't properly seal off everywhere before they painted. Same thing here, that's really high where that step flashing is. Plus, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but that step flashing is not even installed correctly. Luckily you have too many steps instead of not enough, but those are supposed to be 1 per shingle, so those aren't actually working correctly technically, but it's a whole nother thing. Yeah, another end like that where we go up, seal it off, smooth it out, paint it, make sure it's correct. This gap's not very bad on this corner, still wrong but not bad. And then the irony, that corner looks pretty good. That's closer to a wrapped corner, so there might be a few in here that would work. All right, that looks pretty good. We'll start working our way around here. Couldn't help but notice there's a lot of kind of cracks here that just weren't sealed off to begin with. A lot of cracks coming in between your panels. These you can see it's starting to expand. It was holding water at some point, or it is holding water. It's hard to tell, but it is breaking around the nail, so it may need a new paint job anyways. It's probably getting pretty close. Yeah, see, that shouldn't be coming out, so you may need to paint the whole house while you're at it just to get it done before it, it's going to be due soon anyways. Yeah, you can see the moist spots where it's holding a little water. It does need painted. All right. Yeah, smooth and paint, smooth and paint, smooth and paint. I mean, it looks like we basically need to do all the soffit fascia area. It's like, I mean, every corner, it seems like there's a little gap that if we're already up there working, might as well caulk it in, smooth it out, paint it, seal it off. That moisture will make it bubble and rot. I noticed you had some birds flying in and out of here. I can't tell if there's a hole or not, probably is. So we need to address that and figure out what they're getting into up there. Probably part of the issue for something separate, but kind of more of the same over here. Yeah, the end of that one's rotted. Looks like something's dug into that one. Well, hell, you can see it. That one looks like it does have something had dug into it. That may be a way they're getting in and out as well. So we'll have to do the same work there, replace it, seal it, paint it. This doesn't look too bad. This back one's pretty good. We'll go around here real quick. Let's get a look. I can kind of look through here. I didn't see as much over here on this side. Same problem here with that trim, I remember. Yeah, so this one's rotting away even a little bit on the bottom, so it really needs cleaned up and painted to begin with. And we'll check under all those eaves there where your soffit is. Yeah, that one's rotted on the end, same thing. Just over and over again. Yeah. So that would be seal and paint to get that blended back in and make sure it's not leaking or causing issues anyways. We're already there. Be a good idea. Yep. Look at that one. That one's dug all the way out. Something's got into it. I didn't notice that. Something pulled it all the way out to make a hole to get in. That could be a spot they're getting in. And that might be rotten right there in the end. I don't know if you saw that before. That looks, yeah, that's dropping. So if that's dropping right there, that little hole means it's rotten through. Something's leaking on your roof. we probably need to try to figure that out while we're up there. Luckily, these are timber lines. These are common shingles. So if we can find the leak there, I think it's just on the end, I'm not sure what's going on. We can pull that up, clean it up, fix it up, reseal everything, and just blend the shingles back in. If you want to do that while we're there, that'd be a good idea. So, you know, basically the synopsis of it is, we could spend a few days out here fixing some rot, caulking gaps, foaming big gaps, trimming out, painting, trying to get this all back to kind of where it needs to be to help you with your bat issue. I think that's really, honestly, that's what you need to do. I mean, there's just kind of too many little things, and we're gonna have to get creative on that corner of that metal where they just cut it open way too big. We don't want to tear it off there. The roof looks pretty good. I mean, you don't want to start tearing it off there unless you have to, because it damages the shingles. So it puts us in a real bind, a real pickle, and we got to figure something out. We're probably going to have to create a superficial piece that just goes over it, like a little corner piece. We'll hand bend it and just put it over it, and then we'll have to try to blend that in and make it look natural. I don't know what else to do. It's just a weird spot to have to fix every single corner on the house, you know. But that's what I've come up with. Jeff, it's just a lot of, looks like a lot of people just didn't really finish their job correctly, and it's caused your house to become more of a maintenance issue, and you know, and now it's catching up to you. It sucks. It's kind of one of those things. It is what it is. But we can fix it and get you back to where at least you don't have the gaps and the issues, and seal the house off. So let me know if you have any questions, and we'll get you an estimate put together.